Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are you ready for a real breakthrough?
Hi, my name is Kim Ng, spelled as NG. I'm a registered acupuncturist. We are a one-stop shop clinic. Whether it's physical, emotional, and mental issues, you name it, we can fix it.
Check us out at kimng.janeapp.com or Google search Kim space NG, and let's get started by meeting your real McCoy of acupuncture today.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are today going to talk about something that can truly make you feel better. And I know that you've heard the term before. I also know there's a very good chance that you've put it to the side because you've had some aversions from doing this or think it may be uncomfortable. I'm talking about acupuncture. And it has been proven by the World Health Organization to help people with over 100 health conditions: headaches, depression, insomnia, arthritis, back pain, knee pain, neck pain, tennis elbow, diabetes, hypertension, stroke. The list goes on. Why haven't you done acupuncture? We're going to talk to a gentleman now located in Canada who helps people all the time. He's a registered acupuncturist. Kim N joins us here on the program. Kim, welcome. How are you?
Hi. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having me on the show, Steve.
Wonderful to have you here. You've been doing this for a long time. How long?
Yes, we are talking about 25 years in both hospital and clinical setting in Asia and Canada.
I want to boil things down to the basics today. And because I do, myself included, I've never had acupuncture. At this point in my life, I'm totally fine with it because I've tried other modalities and I just feel better about a more natural approach to healing. However, if you asked me 5-10 years ago, I'd be like, I don't know. Let me think about that. I'm good with it now. What is actually happening during acupuncture? Can we explain that process?
Yes. My main goal as an acupuncturist is to activate one's built-in self-healing ability by strengthening the function of internal organs of the body in order to achieve homeostasis and longevity by stimulating acupuncture points. So our body has a self-healing mechanism. Once you trigger it, it can heal by itself.
When you're performing acupuncture, you're using, and this is the aversion that many of us have, a fear of needles, and the fact that a needle, if you will, is being placed in your body at a certain point. Let's go right there, because I believe that's the thing that's blocking everybody from trying acupuncture. They may think it works. They may have, read up on it, but they have that aversion to it. What's actually going on, and is there a difference between types of acupuncture?
Yes, there is two types of acupuncture. One is called the Western acupuncture, called dry needling, and there's a traditional acupuncture that I do practice that. All right, but there is a misconception about acupuncture. All right. Among the Western scientific community, that acupuncture is only appropriate to treat musculoskeletal pain, which is not true. This is because the Western acupuncturists and the scientific community have yet to fully understand the full potential of traditional acupuncture. Traditional acupuncture can treat both physical, emotional, and mental issues, and not just musculoskeletal pain.
That's a great point you bring up, because I've never heard that before, the fact that it can treat emotional issues. So let's put the microscope on that. When you talk about emotional issues, what are we talking about there?
We are talking about depression, insomnia, could be anxiety, worry, many emotions. We have about 7 emotions in us that is causing a lot of pain and illness to our body.
So let's say, and I'm going to go hypothetical for a moment here, Kim. Let's say you've been through a challenging situation. Let's say it was a divorce or maybe grief, passing of a parent, whatever it might be. You're carrying some emotional challenges with that. Are you telling us that acupuncture can help with those challenges?
Yes, we could. Because, you see, every emotion, whether it's worry or overthinking or anxiety or sadness or grief, like passing away of loved ones, is all affected or related to every organ in different organs. In other words, different organs can manifest in different emotions. Put it this way, they are attached together, but all will have to go to the heart. All right. So when you have in sadness, in situation when you have sadness, right, that is affecting the lungs. All right. So we treat the lungs. We make the lungs stronger. All right. Then the person has the chi. This actually basically when you have sadness or grief, it affects your lung in a way that the chi is spelled as QI, pronounced as CHI. This chi is a driving force, right, that is stuck or stagnated in your lungs. So when we unblock or open up this stagnation of chi in your lungs, then everything flow better. You can breathe. Your chest is relieved from tightness of chest. Your chest is able to breathe better, and you can sleep better. Everything goes good to you.
The word chi, I've heard it a ton of times before, but I've never really gotten my arms around exactly what chi means. Can you tell us?
Yes. Chi is it's a very technical word that many scientific community trying to do research every year. Many Western university does do research, but they only come up their research only come up to not a full understanding of it. It's like they think chi is somehow energy. Well, then another university might do research and say that, well, there is a light force. Or another university might think there is a neutron in it. So that is only like 10% correct here and there, all right? Let me talk about more chi, since you asked this question.
Sure.
Okay? Did you know that the main root cause of disease, symptoms, or pain originated from imbalance of chi energy in your internal organs? That is the main problem of all disease. Okay, we are not talking about infectious disease, right? Like COVID. We are not talking about that. We are talking about basically, when you're not feeling well, or you have shoulder or neck tightness, or you have in your chest, you have difficulty breathing. These are all chi problems. So chi, all right, is spelled as QI and pronounced as CHI, which equate to biblical terms found in the book of Genesis called the breath of life. This chi or life force is an essential and integral part of sustaining one's life and health condition. If the chi in the organ is imbalanced, that can cause deficiency, stagnation, or in excess energy. Every chi in the organ should maintain a relatively balanced level.
I appreciate you explaining that, because I've heard chi for years and never even really knew exactly what it meant. In my mind, it was like balance. Have a good balance in your life. I want to go back to, Kim, talking about emotions, because I believe many of us don't realize that it can be a cause of disease. It can affect organs in our body. And I had no idea, being very honest with you, I had no idea that acupuncture can help us with emotions. Can we go a little bit deeper on that? How emotions can influence our bodies, and I know we talked briefly about disease, but go a little bit deeper into that.
Yes. Let's talk about emotions then.
Sure.
Emotions are mental stimuli that influence our affective life, but under normal circumstances are not a cause of disease. However, emotions become a cause of disease when we do not possess them, but rather they possess us. Similarly, emotions become a cause of disease when they are either long-lasting or very intense, or both. As a result, emotional strain is an internal cause of disease that injured the internal organs directly. The state of internal organs affect our emotional state. For example, if your liver is in a deficient state, perhaps from dietary factors, may cause a person to become irritable all the time. Conversely, if a person is constantly angry about a certain situation or with a particular person, this may cause the liver to be in excess or inflamed. Since the body and mind form an integrated and inseparable unit, the emotions can only cause disharmony, but can also be caused by it. For example, the state of fear and anxiety. We're talking about this too. Fear and anxiety over a long period of time may cause the kidney to become deficient. On the other hand, if the kidney becomes deficient, though say overwork, this may cause a state of fear and anxiety as well. So it works both ways. Either the organ is affecting your emotion or your emotion is affecting your organ.
Amazing. So are you saying you have certain emotions you're dealing with, and even use the examples that we brought up before, grief you're dealing with. That could affect our internal organs that manifest as a physical problem when there was nothing wrong with the organ. It all started, your mind really created the challenge. Is that what we're saying here?
Yes, that is true, and that can also work the other way around. Can be in organs that's causing an emotional manifestation. Can work both ways.
Oh, okay. So let's just say you have gut issues. Many of us do. Let's say you're dealing with, whatever, call it an ulcer or whatever. That can manifest itself as an emotional issue the other way around.
Yes. Sometimes you think that it's a gut issue. It might not be a gut issue, It could be, you see, when most people are having, let's talk about anger, all right?
Sure.
Okay, most people are having a meal, with a family. There's in some families, having a meal time is not a great time. They have a conversation that is not pleasant. And, so when you have anger during meal time, it affects your stomach, causing bloating, heartburn, indigestion, or acid reflux. In this kind of situation, you might think that all have gut problem, which is not, right? Let's say after an hour or two, you have not settled down your emotion of anger, it will still affect your intestine, causing abdominal pain, distension, and alternation of constipation and diarrhea. So the emotion of anger can cause in your internal organs, in your digestion all the way.
Wow. Let's go back to your history. Kim, how did this begin for you, your journey helping people feel better through acupuncture?
Yes, I do. I see this, every day. All of them most people have emotional issues that they do not even realize that's causing a health issue. And they thought it's physical health is a problem. It's it's more emotional than they realize. So I do help them, balance back, their emotions. So bring back to balance, and they will be in good health.
How long does a session take, and typically how many does somebody have to go through, Kim?
Well, it all depends on individual. Some people respond, the treatment time is only about half an hour, depending. If it's more serious case, I could give them 45 minutes. But if it's not so serious, we just do half an hour. But depending on situation, some people respond better with acupuncture. Some people take a few sessions to respond. So in anyhow, you will definitely see result, even one session, the first session.
So I want to go back to the actual needles that are being used and what somebody feels, because I don't know anybody that's had acupuncture, so I can't actually say to them, what did that feel like? Was it painful? Was it uncomfortable? Again, the aversion of needles, I believe, keeps people away from acupuncture. Can we look at that, what a session looks like, what people tell you it feels like?
Yes. You see, all needles we use are sterile. Disinfected,
Sure.
So brand new. It's disposable, okay? One-time use only. So when we use these needles, right? These needles are not like your doctor used those needles, right? These needles are the gauge of the needle is very fine, like the human hair. the diameter of the human hair. So it's very flexible. It's stainless steel. It's flexible. You can flex it around. And in other words, it is so flexible. It's sharp, but it's flexible. So when I do the insertion of the needle, you don't even feel the pain. It's that fast and sharp that you don't even feel the pain. Of course, there are certain areas you do feel it, especially in the fingers or the toes. You could feel it because those are very close to our nerve endings, so it's very sensitive. But other than that, you don't really feel it at all.
Wow. Is there any blood or bleeding involved?
Usually no. No blood. When we withdraw the needle, there's no blood coming out from that.
See, this is the stuff we don't hear. So I'm glad we're talking about it now.
If you know where you insert the needle, that you're not puncturing the arteries or vein, then there is no blood coming out. But
Sure.
If you don't know what you're doing, then of course there is bleeding involved.
And that's because, your experience, number one, and number two, because of the gauge of the needles is so fine that that just doesn't happen.
Yes.
Wow. How do you decide what gauge needle to use, or are they all the same? And where I'm going with that is, are there different needles for different challenges somebody's having? And typically, how many do you have to place?
All right. The needle have many various sizes in length, in gauge. They are different. Depend on body type, right? And sometimes we have as short as a half an inch needle to maybe 4 or 5 inches needle, the long ones, for a bigger person. So depend where we want to insert the needle is, right? If it's less at your piriformis area, means your butt, your buttocks area, there is a big flesh, right? So we could use a long one too over there, like 3 to 4 inches long, to reach certain point that is really really deep inside. So we want to reach those points, we have to use long needles. Other than that, short needle would do. Yeah.
Okay. And let's say an average session. I could pay, somebody's having some pain somewhere. How many needles do you have to place? I know every situation is different, but on average, what do you think?
Oh. Most people come with a list of problems, not just one simple one. No? You don't see patients just come, have a stiff neck and shoulder. They also have other issues like insomnia, okay? Or they have constipation. They have many other things along, okay? Just for illustration purpose, just as you mentioned, let's talk about neck and shoulder, right? Yeah?
Okay.
I can use maybe 3 needles, that's all. There are many techniques I can use. I can use on the local points, means on the neck and the shoulder, which most people does that. But I can also do distal points. In other words, I can put needles at your toes, and your shoulder and your neck is released totally free.
Wow. So you're saying even as little as 3 placements of needles could get the job done?
Yes. This technique, not every acupuncturist are taught. They are not taught in school. They are not taught elsewhere, right? This one is through experience. Many years of experience of self, experimenting, yeah?
When somebody comes to you, Kim, and you're getting an idea of what they're dealing with, in your mind, are you already formulating where the needles need to go? Yes.
What first is a diagnostic of it. Most of all, before any insertion of needle, before we even start, is asking questions. We do a tongue diagnostic. We look at the tongue, okay? Stick your tongue out. We look at the tongue. We look at the coating of the tongue and the shape of the tongue and everything else. We look under the eyes, okay? We look into, we do what we call a pulse diagnostic with 3 fingers on each side on your wrist, all right? So in other words, we are not taking the pulse like a doctor do, how many beats per minute. We are not doing that, all right? What we are doing, we are downloading, or we are connecting with the internal organs. So we are downloading all the information from the internal organs into my head, so I can see everything in my head. You know what I mean? I know it sounds difficult. It is difficult. So in other words, I can see everything about yourself internally, internal organ. before I do, so I could see what is the problem, with which organ is having a problem. Then I know what to do with it, how to balance back the energy imbalance of it.
Why? I'm fascinated about the tongue. So that's the first thing you do. You examine somebody's tongue, and that tells you a lot right there.
Yes, the tongue does tell a lot of things. Also look into organs. You see, everything is organ related. Okay, everything is organ related. Let me give because if it's not, but in the Western mind they can't see the internal organ relation with the pain, the neck and shoulder pain, right? They think that is the muscular skeletal pain, which I don't. I mean, I've been there, done that. Okay, that doesn't work well. All right, so we have to look internal organs, right? So, give an example, right? If you are driving on a highway and your car stalled, and you pull to the roadside and you couldn't start the car anymore, well, the indicator shows if you give a good car wash, a new coat of paint, you think your car can start? Obviously not. So you have to open up the hood and see what's the problem with the engine, or which component of the engine is not working, and you fix it from there, and then it will start again. Same thing is happened to a person. You must look into the engine, which is the internal organ of our body, and you fix from there, and all this neck and shoulder is just a manifestation. Just a manifestation. Nothing wrong with your neck and shoulder.
There's nothing wrong with your neck and shoulder.
Yes, nothing wrong. Yeah, I can tell you, there's nothing wrong. Regardless what other therapists or doctors tell you that, oh, you have this, a frozen shoulder, or you have a compression and this and that on your spine, this and that. I can do from internal. I don't have to even touch your neck or shoulder. I don't even have to work on it. I just treat the organ, and that's it. The organ will heal itself, and the organ will remove the manifestation, which is like an indicator on your car dashboard. The indicator lights up the red and orange light. That is not a problem. The problem is no matter how you polish the indicator light, it will not go off until you go into the engine and repair the component or replace the component. Then the indicator lights will turn off by itself.
Wow.
Isn't it true?
How interesting, Kim, that you put it that way. When you look at it, looking at somebody's tongue, it's like the check engine light or the indicator on the dashboard is telling you about something. Yes. And I want to share, if I may, take 20 seconds to share this. I spoke with somebody recently who told me that you have pain, shoulder pain, but whatever it might be, it's connected usually to something else. And I gave an example of a friend of mine who said that, he's got a little bit of rotator cuff issue. What would that be connected to? She said that would be an issue probably dealing with a female. He's dealing with an emotional relationship issue. I said, how do you know that? She said, because you said the right side. Actually, no, I take that back. I didn't say the right side. She brought that up, and she says, what side is it? And I said, it's the right side. She confirmed everything. And that's what he's going through. So to your point, a lot of this comes from the stuff that we deal with, but we think, oh, it's an injury from playing tennis or whatever it might be. Yes, it could be, but not necessarily. And,
right.
Wow. Amazing. I know that you're in Canada. What part of Canada do you practice in?
Yeah, in Niagara, Canada, near Niagara Falls.
Okay. All right. So it's anybody within that region would come to you. How would they find you? How would they set up an appointment, or at least even a consultation to talk a little bit more?
Yes, they can call me at this number 416-839-4277. I repeat, 416-839-4277, or they can visit my website. You spell KIM-JANEAPP.com, or simply Google search KIM space NG. They can find me there.
Amazing. Really, you are the genuine person. You're the real deal.
I call it the real McCoy. They call me the real McCoy of acupuncture.
And I see why, because you really make it easy to understand. And again, practicing for almost 30 years in terms of what you're doing. Appreciate all the insight today. And again, the phone number, do I have this right? 416-839-4277?
That's correct.
Beautiful. Kim, thank you for being here today and for all the insight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Steve, for having me on your live show today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.